The jail booth became a confessional, full of admitted sins, forgiveness, and answered prayers. In the midst of his ramblings about how and why he could do better, I heard myself mumble, "Brother, we need you."
Welcome to the Black Man Lab Afterflow. We are live this evening, back home. We are in Atlanta, brothers.
Yes, sir.
The tour has been going all through Georgia. It's been crazy. It's been enlightening. It's been just wonderful touching brothers across the state of Georgia. But guess what? We home now.
That's right.
And hey, look, I am happy to be home, man, because it's been a roll, man. Hey, I want to thank my brothers that have been on the road with us. It's just been amazing going on. We've been to Columbus, Statesboro, Augusta, Albany. Where am I missing? Anybody? Where am I missing? Savannah. We've been all through Clayco.
Yes, sir.
And now we home, back here in Atlanta, man, at the Andrew and Walter Young YMCA. Yes, super happy. Great conversation this evening. And what we want to do, I want you brothers to give yourselves a quick introduction, and then we're going to get into this conversation of what Black men got to say. So, brother, give your intro.
Right on. My name is Joshua Andre Brown Dennard, Andre with an H, right? I'm a filmmaker and self-proclaimed revolutionary. I've been doing it my whole life. Got a show on Jaro Media right now, Silver and Gold. Please check that out.
All right. What's your show about, brother? Tell us real quick.
Silver and Gold. It's a lot of twists and turns. It's a heist show. It's an ensemble cast, written and directed by a black man, black crew, right? Okay. It's a heist show that turns into a revolutionary show and the complications of black people in amongst their own leadership organizations.
Got that. And what's the network it's on again?
It's Jaro Media.
Jaro Media. Y'all heard it right here. Look him up. All right. My brother.
Yes,
from
sir.
Gary.
Yes, sir. From Gary, Indiana. And first of all, I want to say that I'm honored to be on this podcast and be a part of what the Black Man Lab has done to promote the agenda of black men, and in a heartfelt effort to bring it to people who may not have been exposed to the strengths that we feel here at home. And I can see Black Man Lab going nationally and internationally. Now, for my intro, I'm Glenn Gilkey. I'm from Gary, Indiana. And hey, look at here, IND, me. And I'm a former educator at the higher education level, where I worked at the University of South Florida, helping black students. And we had a retention program in which we changed the attrition rate of black males from 50% to 80% in good academic standing, 90% retained for graduation over a 10-year period. I hosted for 9 years a black man forum called Black Men Collectively Constructing Character, and it changed the face of that campus. A lot of the students would come back and say that we felt like we were at the HBCU on a predominantly white campus because of the love and support.
Beautiful. Appreciate you, brother. My brother, Ice Mike, Morehouse grad.
How you all doing? I too am honored to be on this podcast this evening. My name is Mike D. Scott. I am a healer. I'm a youth counselor certified. I'm a life coach. I am the founder of the Morehouse Basketball Alumni Organization. Right, and I'm also... Thank you.
Round of applause.
Yes, so that's been a blessing. It's been a learning experience as well. And I'm also a writer-producer as well. I got my degree from Morehouse in filmmaking, and I love telling stories, and I know that's an integral part of healing, storytelling. So,
and you got your master's from
Clayton State University in history.
All right.
Yeah.
Again, right on. Again, both deserve rounds of applause.
Thank you.
So, brothers, we had this evening wrapping up the tour of what black men got to say, and we asked the question: if you were sitting across from the elected governor and or senator on Wednesday, if indeed this is over on Wednesday, we'd probably be pushed a little longer than that. But if you were sitting across from them, what would you ask? What would that ask be of that person who's sitting in that big chair as it relates to your concerns as a black man. The other part of the question is, what do you expect from your brothers? What do you want to see from your own brothers to push your own agenda? So I'll ask you first.
Right on. For the political part of that, first of all, tonight, and this has happened in a few different spaces. People often, you never know, especially in the black community. You have some people who are, hey, people have died for this, so I'm gonna vote, and you have other people who completely skip over it, and that's been happening for so long. I believe it's a tool, much like all the other ones we have, and I want to see my brothers use our tools, and I can really put it as simple as that. In terms of what I would actually say to the elected official, a lot of people don't know who you are. A lot of people don't know who you are. They only hear about you when it's time to vote. And a lot of people are so caught up in living their lives, and media is changing. People aren't watching C-SPAN. That's the only network that covers politics 24/7 year round. There are so many different avenues to cover what's happening in our environment, what's happening on the local dais. What can we do to increase civic education? It used to be a big conversation, but it's vote or die is a campaign. Why is it not year round? I don't understand. It's just so many parts of this where we are not being engaged by people who are leading us on a mass level. We have the tools now, they exist. I want to have that conversation.
So what you want to see is from the elected officials pushing civic engagement a little further, and then also being a little more personal with their own lives and who they are, so that we have a better idea of where they're at.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Brother Glenn.
Well, I think I would ask politicians and those who are running for office, are you going to be a pretender or a contender? And
explain that a little bit when you say that.
Well, we've had a system of things in terms of elections where we hear the same things each time around, that people are seeking office, but the results have not added up to the expressions of what they intend to do while they're in office. And to be a pretender, to just speak it and not follow it up with concise actions and valid things that have helped out, that would help our community. We know what the problem is, and it's gotten age old, and we've I think as a people we've let ourselves not hold ourselves and them accountable. Dr. Amos Wilson once said that we spend too much time trying to change and transform others. If we did that, others are automatically transformed. So you have to put yourself in a position of power. People respect those who respect themselves. It's how we bring ourselves to the table. You see, because we've had more PhDs and politicians now more than ever in the history of this country, and we haven't moved 0.5% in ownership in anything in this country for 100 years. So where's the problem there? Where have things gone astray there? We have to ask ourselves that, and then we have to hold those people who are put in positions to help us bring forth change.
So the accountability of self to hold the politicians accountable for whatever they say they're going to do, right? So you're saying, like, us as a community, we asked for it to be part of their agenda, whatever it is. Now we have to hold ourselves accountable to saying, hey, you better do whatever you're going to do, because maybe quite often, if I'm hearing you correctly, what you're saying is that they'll say they're going to do something in particular, get in office, and then we don't do anything about it when they don't do it.
Right.
Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Good stuff. Mike.
Yes. The questions that I would ask the politicians is, first and foremost, of course, what are your plans, and how first and foremost is our community a part of your plans when you get in office? What are your plans for our community? And then most importantly, how can me as an individual and my people and my business and my gifts, how can I help you with your initiative? Because I think one thing that can be an issue is we're always looking for something like, what are you going to do for us? What we want. What can we give? What can we actually do to help these politicians be successful helping us? How can we work together? How can we really build? How can we bring our talents, our businesses, our minds to the table and really give them the support they need so they can support us the way they should? And I think that's a small shift, a subtle shift that we can shift our perspective on what can we give rather than how can we get what we want. I think when we do that, we're going to change the game.
So pushing at them, I'm here to help, whatever that agenda was that was asked on the front end, that again goes back to what you were talking about, Glenn, the holding of them accountable. Right. I like all of that. Well, one of the things that we always do every week is we talk about habits, rituals, and disciplines, because we know that none of this stuff that we do in life, right? None of our successes, you got a TV show, Mike, you got several degrees, Glenn, you've been very studied. None of that stuff would have happened if you didn't have some habits, rituals, and disciplines. So us in the Black Man Lab, we always want to talk about that. So I'm going to ask each of y'all, what are your habits, rituals, and disciplines that you do on a daily basis to keep you moving forward as a Black man?
Right.
Brother.
I consider myself somewhat of a scientist. So I'm constantly on a daily basis, I'm challenging the knowledge. I'm challenging the divine downloads that I'm receiving, right? I'm constant.
Divine downloads.
Yeah, I'm just
talk about that a little bit.
I have a lot of daydreams. I have visions, right, of things that need to be done, and I try not to ignore those feelings, those instinctual, like this needs to be done, this conversation needs to be had, this show needs to be produced, this podcast needs to be sat on. Come to the Black Man Lab tonight. I try to follow these instincts, and I do it without question. And I often reflect on those sometimes because it's not always easy. And I journal. Journal as much as I can.
Sure. Quick question before I move to you, Glenn. As you follow those dreams, as you call them, do you find that you move into spaces that you're supposed to be a lot more?
I've never not moved into a space that was, I
love it.
I've been doing this since I grew up around politicians. I grew up as a filmmaker. I've walked in my purpose as long as I've been alive.
Love it. Okay, good stuff, brother. I call that creator movement. I love that. Go ahead, brother.
I think we are a spiritual people, and I think our spiritual fortitude lends toward our survival. And I'm a very spiritual being. I think that we are spiritual beings living a human existence, not human beings living a spiritual existence. So I'm not getting spooky with y'all, but the planets, in my estimation, and my study, have lined up. And what happens in 12-year periods called the transformation happened in February. Jupiter and Saturn came together. Jupiter is warmth and love, Saturn is structure and discipline. And they came together. But what makes it so significant this time is that what happens in 2,600-year periods happened along with it, called the mutation, where Pluto came in for power. So what I do is try to tap into that frequency as a Black man. And I've been a vegan vegetarian for 48 years. When I get up in the morning, I tap into that spirituality and be thankful for my spirit, because nobody knows where the spirit begins and where it ends. So I feed into that and try to make it stronger. Then I put my feet on the ground, what is called grounding, which the old folks used to do, that a lot of folks don't talk about no more. You get the energy from the earth. And if I've been distraught, if you've been distraught emotionally, that balances your electrical frequencies by putting your feet on the ground. And also it takes inflammation out of the joints. So it gets me ready spiritually, mentally, and physically.
Got you. Get those feet on the ground and you're spiritually grounded.
It's called grounding.
All right. Mike, habits, rituals, and disciplines, brother.
Okay. Well, when I played basketball in college, I used to get up like around 5 in the morning every day, and I made it a habit to make 500 shots a day so I can play at the collegiate level and give myself an opportunity to play professionally. So I kind of kept that habit. So I'm up around 5:30 every day. First thing I do is pray. Second thing I do is meditate. Third thing I do is do some form of daily devotion where I'm reading something that's enriching my mind and my spirit with positive words of affirmation. Then I do my affirmations. I drink herbal tea And then after I drink a herbal tea and doing my affirmations and all those things, I get ready and I go to the gym. I work out for anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. Then after that, I eat holistic plant-based as well, for the most part. You know, I have my cheat days like everybody else. So, but yeah.
You don't go heavy like on pork or nothing, do you?
I don't eat. I haven't eaten meat in like almost 3 years now. So,
all right, brother.
There's certain brothers that get on me every now and then.
Yeah.
Pork chop or something.
Yeah, I haven't had meat in almost 3 years now. But yeah, and it feels great that I got away from that. But yeah, I do that, and then I try every night at around 10 p.m. I create a checklist for what I want to get accomplished for the next day. And I try to just execute everything on that checklist. Some days I get it all out the way. Some days it be short. Some days I, end up doing a podcast I didn't plan for. Understand what I'm saying? But, just give myself an opportunity to do something constructive each and every day. And then I wake up the next day and do it all over again. Yes, sir.
All right.
Is there any chance I can comment on that? Just briefly.
Real quick, go ahead.
I struggled with that. I had a very disciplined routine, best shape of my life, and I was homeschooled, so I didn't have that sports structure, and I had to think where and what point in my life did I perform at most optimum capacity. I had to force myself to get there because I didn't have that structure of sports. So I just encourage people to find a place where they perform the best and replicate that formula, right, for themselves.
Right. Good stuff. Brothers, we're done. I told you it was quick and painless, man.
I see.
Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for being part of the lab.
Right.
And we back in Atlanta, y'all.
All right, here we are.
Black Man Lab out.